And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to some more NECC action. We had an absolute banger of a matchup for you just now. It was a 3-0 sweep, but in fantastic fashion between UAH and Boise State. But now we're moving on from the West Div 1 over to the East Div 1. Both these teams, Ontario teams. We've got Durham, our former NECC champions, going up against St. Clair College. I am your color commentator. My name is Lars Newt. Joining me here in the casting booth for this series is Nuclear. Nuclear, how are you doing tonight? Are you excited for some Div 1 former champion matchup?
I'm going to tell you right now, Lars, excited doesn't even begin to explain it. I started the hype on Twitter probably an hour ago. As I was sitting here watching those matches, the exhilaration was just building within, and I was so ready for these matches. I had the pleasure of actually casting Durham's championship against Illinois Wesleyan last semester, and I tell you, they bring the heat. So they got to bring their A game today.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough matchup for any team, really, to go up against Durham. And Durham, there's a couple of names here I actually recognize. Drews, Clues, Brooks, and Welks on the side of Durham versus St. Clair's Kamal Endeavor and Garashi. That's going to be an interesting matchup. And I think it's going to come down to, again, like we saw kind of in that last matchup, can one team outpace and out-control and force the other team onto the back foot? I think if you're St. Clair College going up against this former championship team, you're going to need to be aggressive in their face and not allow them to play the game they want to play. Don't allow them to control that ball up and down the field.
And I gotta say, St. Clair has built their reputation. Saints Gaming up in Canada has definitely, destroyed the competition in a lot of other games. So we're going to see how the Rocket League team can fare against these former champions. Because, as we said, they've got a match ahead of them, and they've got to bring their A game if they want to win.
It's going to be a tough matchup. But kind of like we said in the last series, the only way to really know who's going to walk away the victor is to throw them up against each other and see who walks out the victor. I do want to get a prediction from you, though. Nuclear, who do you think is going to win and by what scoreline for the overall series?
All right, so if I'm reaching into my bag, right, and I'm just pulling something out, it's got to be Durham. I'm sorry, they're the former champions. They're going to take the dub tonight, week 1. This has been, honestly, the most build up to a set that I've seen. So many people are excited to see what Durham has this semester. It's got to be Durham. Looking at the books, that's what it's telling me.
Well, yeah, that tells you who you think is going to be the victor, but how do you think they're going to do it? Is it going to be a sweep? Is it going to be a game 5 decider? Where do you think we're going to end up here? I know what we're hoping for, obviously hoping for that game 5 decider, because that's the most fun to watch. But realistically, what do you cast Durham for their finals match? What do you think is going to happen here?
I would like to see a back and forth set. I would like to see a 1-1 to 2-2, and then a game 5 situation where we're not sure what's going to happen. That's me being optimistic. If I'm being realist, maybe a 3-0 in favor of Durham. If it's the same team they had last semester, they're going to bring the heat. What are your predictions, Lars? What do you think?
Well, that is a bold prediction. I think I'm also going to have to give this one to Durham. They're bringing so much experience and so much talent into this matchup. It's going to be very difficult to upset them. But St. Clair, I think if they want to make a statement going into this season, if they can pick up 1 and maybe even 2 games off of Durham here, it's going to look very good going into the season. But here we are, game number 1, kickoff, immediate advantage over to St. Clair.
Yeah, St. Clair going to take it up. Actually, no, Durham has the ball now, and they're going to take it on St. Clair's side, getting the rotate. Brooks is going mid, looking for someone. Vitali wasn't quite able to make it, and it looks like they're setting up for another play.
Vitali, I know we mentioned earlier the players for Durham is going to be not Vitali. Vitali's subbing in right now for one of the players over on the side of Durham.
Yeah, and it looks like Drew's Clues is actually going to get the first point of the game, getting Durham on the scoreboard. That's a 1-0, 30 seconds into the match. You do not want to beat St. Clair in this situation.
The last thing you want to do if you're up against, again, a former championship team is to get behind. You want to get out to an early jump, an early lead, and then control it and maintain it. And unfortunately, that's not the start they need. Drew's Clues with a great little double touch across the back on that back wall defense that we saw in that last series. I think that's going to be critical going forward.
Oh, yeah, being able to play off the wall is imperative in getting these goals. Ooh, Vitali!
What?
Wow! Played it off of himself right there. I think that they were kind of expecting a pass here. Warski wasn't able to get it. Oh, and he went right around the defender.
Nice little triple touch down the wall from Vitali to get that one in. And you asked for, we talked about earlier, Vitali subbing in right now for one of the regular Durham players. And obviously the right sub to make, putting in their second. Less than a minute into this game, St. Clair has to find some magic, has to find some momentum quickly for this series. Runs away on him. Here's an opportunity, just touch high by Kamal.
And Brooks is going to take it back down. Vitali may be a sub, but I will say he does have experience on the team. Brooks getting the quick third score point of the game. We're only 3 minutes, 50 seconds in, and I'm telling you, 3-0 is not where you want to be sitting.
That's an unfortunate one there. Garashi putting that one in themselves. They had to make a touch there. If they didn't make a save, that was going to be a goal anyways. But it was a savable ball that they just touched up into their own corner. And unfortunately, it gives this lead even more of an advantage over to Durham. They need to get this one back. But now Durham with the demo game is able to open this one up. Vitali gets their second of the matchup. And this is looking like a runaway train. We need to find a way.
Wow.
St. Clair needs to derail this train.
Truly, they just traded a demo for a demo for that goal, and that was not in St. Clair's favor to start that demo match. Looks like Endeavor's going to try to take it up off the right side, but Brooks is going to counter on the wall. Gwarski looking for something mid. Ooh, there's a lot of aerial game going on, a lot of blocks in the air so that they can't get the two-touch. Who do you think has a stronger aerial game so far?
Well, we honestly haven't had to see much of Durham challenge up high in the air. They've spent a lot of time controlling the ball, and they've really, like we said earlier before the game started, it's all going to be about who can put the other team on the back foot and maintain control. Right now, it's Durham with control, but that one leaks in front of the net. That's a threatening opportunity. They just can't find the finish, and now driving back the other way, Brooks tries to get the 50, can't on Kamal, but it's contained. And we see Durham continue to control this game. We're not even halfway through game number 1, and we've already got 4 to the favor of Durham.
And you can tell Durham is really trying to mess with the heads of St. Clair, getting the bumps and the demos whenever they find it possible. Just, the little touches here and there, like, hey, I'm not going to let you do what you normally do, because I'm going to be right on top of you. Drew's Clue's going for the cheeky corner goal. Guard's going to stop it. He said, no, we're not allowing that here.
You got to be careful with open-eyed opportunities like that. If Drew's Clues had put a little spicy mustard on that shot, put a little heat there, and that was going to be another goal to the advantage of Durham. St. Clair has finally found a way to slow down the goal scoring of Durham. They've shut it down a little bit. We haven't seen that early burst of goals come back, but they haven't found a way to get it clear, get it effectively downfield, and then bring real pressure down on Durham's net.
True, yeah, and the pace right now is just seeming really weird because they're getting set up for goals midfield, but they're not really taking those shots aggressively. A couple of these shots are just kind of lobbing it in, and I think that they're really looking for an opportunity to throw them off of their back foot, like you said earlier, Lars.
Well, we talked about it as Brooks picks up another one here, and at this point, I don't think there's a whole lot to say regarding these goals. That's just a big send downfield, well read by Brooks to pick that one up, and good interference on Endeavor to make sure they can't get back to save that one. But the thing I think we wanted to talk about here is getting effective attacks on the net. We mentioned it in that last series of attacking the net and getting follow-up opportunities. We've seen them, like you said, throw just a couple of lob shots on the net, easily saved, easily touched away from the shooting lane. I think if you are St. Clair, attack that backboard, really get aggressive, get a good offensive rotation established, be quick to come around, and then hit that backboard 2-3 times. When you bait that defense out, which you will if you're effectively attacking here, then you'll find your opportunity. But it all comes down to getting the ball clear and maintaining that offensive pressure.
Agreed, and to do that, you have to have the pace and the timing, right? You have to be able to rotate on time, and we're seeing a lot of double commits from St. Clair. You do not want to be in that position. Kamal, clutch save goal. Gwarski going up to help him, I guess? See, that's what I'm talking about. They didn't need to have him in that position.
Well, what's interesting here is that it's a play that's reminiscent of something I actually did a little bit of hoops casting recently, and they have a kickoff over in hoops called the friendship kickoff. It's a certain setup where you can bump your teammate up to the ball quicker, and that's what it looked like. Kamal with that carry over top, and then Garashi trying to follow it up and pump their teammate out over the top. Unfortunately, they don't find it. Now with 20 seconds to go, we still have nothing for St. Clair. I think this game is pretty well decided for game number 1, but it would be nice to see them pick up one. Here's an opportunity over the top. Garashi with a shot. That's still center. And one more. There it is. We needed at least a goal, prevent the shutout, and carry some momentum into game number 2.
And that's exactly what you need at the end of game 1 or 2. If you feel like you're in a losing situation, you don't want to end the game on a low note. You have to end it with some momentum going into the next game and getting that feel for your pace.
Yeah, the worst thing you could do right now is let Durham score again and take away the momentum you have gained here in these last few seconds. Vitali back down to Drew's Clues. Drew's Clues towards the net. Brooks almost following that one up. Touched away by Garashi. Vitali, one more opportunity. Finally, that's going to touch the ground. And we do see St. Clair pick up one and stay alive for 11 seconds without getting scored on again. But, man, they got opened up on that first 2.5 minutes of this game. Durham put in 4 in the first half of this game. St. Clair finally found a way to slow it down. They got some good defensive pressure. But I think the question here is, did St. Clair shut them down for a while, or did Durham let their foot off the gas? They said, hey, we've got control. We don't need to keep peppering. We don't need to be as aggressive as we have been. Can we afford to sit back a little bit?
You know, it could have been a little bit of both. Maybe Durham just felt like they had the lead and they didn't feel the need to be that aggressive at that moment. Just because, you know, they had that comfortable lead moving forward. Now, Durham's confidence going into this next game is definitely going to be something to watch, because if they're starting this game off like they did last game, and they get that quick 2 points, 3 points at the beginning of the game, we're just going to see the same pacing all over again, and then that's going to be all she wrote. What do you think, Clair?
I do have to point out real quick here, Garashi, the player that we saw bump Kamal over the top to try to get that ball clear, is a season 1 dunk master. So I don't know. That could be where that's coming from. But no, I think you're absolutely right. Going into game number 2 here, if we see these teams set up like we did in game number 1, where Durham gets an early lead and they're able to hold on to that commanding lead, it's going to be extremely difficult for St. Clair to make that comeback. They need to find I think in the first minute, St. Clair needs to find a goal advantage and then be able to extend it throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, St. Clair definitely going to have to feel some confidence here going into game 2, because you don't want to be down 2-0 right in the set. You want to have something going into the set. Like I said at the beginning of the set, I'd love to see it back in the 4th. So if any time is the time, it's right now for St. Clair College.
Well, they're struggling to get some looks out here, but they finally get one clear. They break up some of that offensive opportunity that we saw out of Durham, but they're still struggling to find effective shots on net. That last game we saw it easily double-digit shots. Durham they just barely get beat out on this one, and big demo from Kamal trying to open up the lane here, doesn't quite find it. But we only saw 4 shots on net on the side of St. Clair. We need to see them get more opportunities towards the net. And again, I think it goes back to get those follow-up opportunities, get those follow-up shots, and eventually, doesn't matter who you're shooting on, if you shoot enough, you will score a goal.
St. Clair is also going to have to switch up their aerial game, because I just watched Brooks cross field stop Kamal in his tracks with an air dribble, and I'm telling you, these teams know how to perform. They know exactly what to do in the air, and they are comfortable going cross field to stop you with anything you're trying to throw at them. It looks like St. Clair's getting a little stuffed in their goal right now. They've had a couple of misplays trying to save on the net. Every touch has to have a purpose in Rocket League, right? You have to play off of those touches. And if you're just playing to save, well, you don't belong in this division, right? You have to be getting plays off of your touches.
Yeah, we've seen the shooting slow down a little bit for Durham. They picked up 4 so far in this matchup and 3 saves from St. Clair. But speaking of touching with purpose, there's another one off the ball. And Kamal finds the first of the game and the second for St. Clair College of the series. The pass from Garashi, it's exactly what we were talking about. Going through the intermission and going through this follow-on kind of first half of this game is attack that back wall and get those follow-up opportunities. A great kind of double look there out of St. Clair opens up their first lead of the series.
Great communication from Garashi and Kamal in getting that goal. They had to switch up the rotation a bit. Garashi with the second goal! What? St. Clair 2-0! Is this going to be my prediction?
What a recovery here. Able to get that one back there and just took advantage of space from Durham. Durham not getting to that ball quickly, not getting up in the face of St. Clair. They didn't do a good job of shutting down some of that space, and they got burned for it. We need to see a little bit more urgency, a little bit more criticality out of Durham as that one's center, but touched away first by Drew's Clues, and now Kamal defending that back wall. And I sense, you just feel a little bit of new life, a little bit more energy out of St. Clair now. They're a little bit inspired to get aggressive and get to this ball.
Oh, they're using that boost for sure. They are not laxy-daisying around on this field. They are playing with a purpose now. And I'm sure that lit a fire under Durham. Being down 2 points now, 2 minutes left, they've got to kick it in. Oh, Endeavor going in. Kamal for the assist. 3-0 St. Clair.
This is an interesting twist from what we saw in that game number 1. Game number 1 was Durham College, Durham. It was all Durham all the time. They absolutely ran that field. They had complete control up and down. But now, as we're past the halfway mark, we see the advantage fall to St. Clair. Now, Vitali with an opportunity, a little bit of fake, a little bit of bait, is able to shut down some St. Clair momentum and pick up one of their own.
Oh my God! No need to go to the store this week because Vitali's got the sauce! What a play! He just juked them all!
Vitali has the sauce and delivers. picking one up there. But now Drew's Clues looking for an opportunity of their own off the kickoff. Flip reset, doesn't get it. Oh my goodness, what a touch to finish that one off.
The flip reset! Let's see it! I'm telling you, game 2 flip resets? Where else are you gonna get this collegiate action? Nowhere! The answer's nowhere! It's here!
What a touch, and now we're seeing St. Clair let that lead slip away on 2 fast kickoff goals. You can't allow this one to break down just on the kickoffs. Finally, we get a kickoff that doesn't immediately get burned. Brooks with an opportunity to finish this one off, but it's off the back wall and can't quite find it. Now back the other way.
Oh, I'm sure St. Clair's got to be shaking in their boots after those quick 2-0 kickoffs that we got. Because now it's 3-2. This is an entirely different game. Minute and 30 seconds. It was only 30 seconds ago that they only had 2 points. This game picked up the pace real quick.
That's what it comes down to, back and forth, back and forth. It's pace, pace, pace. We've talked about it before, and it's your ability to manage pace, either to push the pace, try to put your opponent in an uncomfortable position, get on the back foot, make them start diving for balls that they can't get in front of, or slow the pace down, maintain control yourself, and look for better, more effective opportunities. And now here, the team's starting to ratchet that pace up. We've seen what they can do when they're given space and control. Now let's see what they can do in the aggressive plays as there's a big bump. It's finished off. Brooks ties this one. Excuse me, Drew's Clues ties this one off of a huge assist from Brooks.
What? That is textbook trust in your rotation. He trusted his 2 to come around and bump it in, knowing that if he stopped the momentum, the St. Clair would also stop. What a great play from Durham. 3-3 now in a very, very close game 2 in this set. I don't know. Who do you think's going to take it?
Well, it's inspiration going forward. It was a little bit scary, that game number 1 for St. Clair, but now, regardless of how this game ends, it's a much better showing for St. Clair and bodes very well going to game 3 that we see a nice even matchup going forward. But now through the midfield, St. Clair looking to finish this one off and secure it, but getting the physical play out of Durham. They're doing a great job of just commanding the field by commanding where players can and can't be by using physical presence.
Oh yeah, and I feel almost like every time we're touching to a different player, the boost is 0. Everyone is using as much boost as possible right now to pick up the pace, be fast as possible. 1 second left, we're in overtime.
Overtime, game number 2. This is exactly what we wanted to see after kind of a disastrous opener here for St. Clair. They have recovered. They've done a great job of bringing some challenge back to Durham. Now the question is, in golden goal, can they secure it? Vitali with an opportunity, that nice little touch, but it's just off the post and wide. Now back the other way. Kamal, patience, off towards the back wall, and no one there to follow it up. A little bit too fast in the clear for their own teammates.
Wasi gonna take it up to the other side of the field. Ooh, fortunately, Brooks is gonna be able to touch, stop the momentum. Vitali going back downfield. Kamal sitting in the goal, trying to get the ball out. Vitali with the 1, Drew with the 2, and it's not gonna get there. So with the 45 seconds now, I feel like this is the longest that we've gone without a goal this entire game.
It very well could be. Both these teams understand the implications of what's happening here. Golden goal, 1, it puts Durham on match point if they pick this one up, or St. Clair ties this up and forces Durham to find 2 more if they want to walk away with the series. This could be possibly the deciding point of the series. Who can walk away late in game number 2 with a victory here?
In these best of 5 sets, I'm telling you, game 2 and game 4 are the most significant. Vitali showing it. Oh my God. Let's rewatch that again.
Vitali is absolutely nuts off the wall. A nice little read to that far corner, and there's just nobody there. They can find it. And like we said, golden goal. We're now on to match point in favor of Durham, and Vitali showing up huge once again. This is the sub on the side of Durham, and here they are finding the MVP slot. Look at this even distribution here, though. All these players within about 100 points of each other, doing a great job of keeping even 12 shots on net. That's awesome pressure downfield.
Every shot counts. Every shot counts in this game. And Vitali just proved it. If you cannot get goals off of touches, what are you doing? Right? You got to play with the team. And Vitali, man, I'm telling you, when we watched him last semester take down Iwu in grand finals, he was on fire. And I'm seeing that same energy tonight. If Vitali has anything to say about it, this is going to be a 3-0 set.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it's the good news here for St. Clair is they didn't get enough pressure downfield. That's not the good news, to be clear. They only got 5 shots on net to 12, excuse me, on in favor of Durham. But with those 5 shots on net, they managed to keep this a 1-goal game late in overtime between these two teams. So going forward, that does bode well. They can be effective defensively. They can keep the ball out of that, and they can make Durham bleed when they get good looks on net. And they may be few and far between, but they've been effective. 3 goals on 5 shots. That's not a great number in the defensive end for Durham. St. Clair needs to find a way to up that shot number without dropping the quality, and they can walk away and force at least a game 4 here.
You said it best, Lars. They made Durham bleed. Now they've just got to gouge the wound, and they've got to expose those weaknesses to move forward in this set. Kamal, I feel like he can hear me right now, dude. I really feel like he can hear me because he saw that right there.
Well, that's a great read out of Kamal to find that one and put it bar down in that top corner. It's almost impossible to get back to that one, but I think the big setup there was that defensive miscue, that defensive mistouch. It's not enough to stop the ball from going in the net. It's not good enough to simply say, hey, I got the save, everything's hunky-dory, especially with players like this. They're going to be looking for follow-up opportunities. You need to clear the shooting lane. And unfortunately for Durham, they get that touch to stop that initial attack, but then put that ball right back down in front of the net. Kamal, right there to follow up on it, finds the first goal for St. Clair.
And Brooks is going to be able to defend a little bit here mid. Ooh, we almost saw the same thing happen again. Not getting that ball out of the shooting lane, like you said, Lars, is going to be disastrous for either team. Get that ball out, get the touches you need, rotate, get it in. You know, play off of each other. At the end of the day, when you're hitting these shots, it's all determined on your angle when you're focused on looking at your teammates. When you're playing around your teammates, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest connection here is those follow-up opportunities, that ability to take follow-up repeat shots. Endeavor touching that one away from the corner from Brooks. But like we see here, now we're getting a little bit of an established rotation in the offensive end, finally broken up by a bump from Endeavor and a touch out from Garashi. Now, Drew's Clues other way. Does they have their flip? They do not. Kamal is able to find that one low on the ground, take away that opportunity. And now as we get past 90 seconds into this matchup, we see St. Clair continuing to hold the advantage, but only by 1. Against this Durham team, you need more than that. Vitali over the top ties this one right back up.
Yeah, I feel like this was a little bit of misplay on the rotation here. Garashi, he wasn't ready for it, and Kamal unfortunately just wasn't able to get there in time. They couldn't commit too many resources to that, and Vitali took advantage of it. Brooks going to win the kickoff for Durham, though. But Endeavor's going to stop it in its tracks, going over one defender. Kamal's going to stop midair. We're seeing a lot of back and forth play right here on this kickoff. Going upfield, Garashi going to go back for the corner one more time.
You mentioned some back and forth here. You mentioned some back and forth here, and that's kind of endemic of trying to play a faster game. When you start to pick up that speed, you start to lose a little bit of that control, and you end up with some fast transition plays that, if they don't amount to a goal, and be turned around pretty quick. But seeing some good pressure out of St. Clair here is Durham struggling to get this ball clear. Kamal over top, good reset, has an opportunity on the back wall. Drew's Clues touches that one away, but again, Garashi misses the touch. Can't find the contain, and now St. Clair has to reestablish from deep in their own corner.
And it's looking like Kamal trying to frequent the same grocery store Vitali's visiting with that sauce. Unfortunately, fumbled it a little bit, wasn't able to get the flip reset, but I'm sure these teams are going to continually go for that in this matchup, because I'm telling you, if you're able to make the other team feel hopeless, feel that despair, really get in their heads, that's the mental is 90% of it. You're going to win.
It goes back to our interview we had earlier with Aurora, where they said, a huge part of this game and getting to this level is that mental game, that ability to kind of allow bad things to happen, learn from them, and move on, not let it get you down. But you're right. If you can kind of beat your opponent to the ground mentally, you can beat them into the ground physically as well and pick up big goals. But here, 1-1, 90-second mark approaching. And we still haven't seen a team really take a commanding lead through game number 3 here.
Yeah, we're seeing Brooks by himself near the net, and they're committing all 3 to go back, get this ball out of their net. But now they're playing on the side of St. Clair, and Kamal's going to get it out of the goal, but they've got to get it out of this side of the field because Durham is not letting up on the gas. Hitting at midfield every time, looking at those rotations, trying to get a goal to really secure this game 2. 3.
Yes, sir. Three indeed. And obviously the big implication here is this is do or die for St. Clair. If they want to continue in this series and not dropping a 3-0 sweep to Durham, they need to find a way to secure game number 3. They have to find a way to pick up at least one more goal without getting burned themselves. And right now, while we've seen them shut down any kind of scoring opportunities out of Durham, we haven't really seen them threaten effectively back towards Durham's net in a while here. We need to see them get a look. Vitali looking for that front corner, gets one more touch. There's no one there to finish. Kamal driving down the field. And that's a little bit what we talked about earlier, is that shifting pace of play is, yes, you need to be fast, but right there, Kamal recognized they had a little bit of space, tried to slow down and control. They just couldn't quite find it. Vitali over the top. That could be the nail in the coffin. 8 seconds to go, and Durham picks up the lead.
You hear that? I think that is the sound of the nail in the coffin as Vitali secures that. What a goal! With 8 seconds left, they've gone 3 minutes without scoring.
Well, the final seconds tick down. It's kind of kickoff goal or nothing here, and as the ball droops over the middle of the field, one more touch to the ground, and this is game over. There it is. Durham in a 3-0 sweep over St. Clair. Pick up a huge win here in week 1 over the top. Vitali picking up at least 2 MVPs here. Man, if there is a player that really stood out tonight, it's got to be Vitali. Obviously, huge contributions from Drew's Clues and Brooks as well, setting up those team plays. And that's something to note here is, we got a lot of flash. We got a lot of aggression out of Vitali to set up these plays. But the big note is you can't do that if you don't have a solid team. If you don't have 3 team players that can manage your spacing on the field, that can manage your aggression, you don't get to make plays like that.
You can't. You literally can't. It's all about playing off of touches at this level. Like I said, even your opponent's touches, right? And I think we actually saw a lot of that coincidentally from Kamal on St. Clair's side. He had 4 saves that last game, and throughout this entire set, he was saving the entire time. He was doing his best to get those rotations, turn around, and create those opportunities for St. Clair. Unfortunately, St. Clair was not able to secure the bag and really struggled in that set against Durham's aggressive play style.
Yeah, the other thing to note here is we spent a lot of time. We got good offensive pressure established by St. Clair. They did a good job getting follow-up opportunities, attacking again and again and again down in Durham's net. But they only registered 3 shots to their names here in game number 3. And that really goes to show what a great job Durham has done outside of that initial touch that gave St. Clair their first goal, of keeping the ball clear of the shooting lane, not allowing effective attacks to develop. Yes, they spent a lot of time in the back foot in the defensive end, but they weren't really threatened throughout that entire time.
Rocket League is one of those games where you can get the lead and then play a little defensively, but you still got to look for those opportunities. You can't just let those pass, right? Let those fly by. If you see the opening, you got to take it. And it's all about looking at the different angles to get that opening. Durham, once they had the lead in that first game especially, we just saw a lot of lobs. We saw a lot of just lackadaisical play because they didn't need to be aggressive. They got as much as they needed to off those first 4 goals, 3 of which, the second, third, and fourth, were rapid fire, one after another. They were in their face. And when you change the pace like that as an aggressive player, it's so hard to combat that as the opponent, because when they're changing up their pace, it's unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I think the one note there though is the best defense is a good offense, and that is a very delicate line to walk as an attacker. Is yes, we have the lead, we have the advantage. We don't want to overcommit forward and end up getting burned in the back end ourselves. But when you start to let off the gas, a big advantage you have by being the faster paced team is the other team just can't keep up, and they make missed touches, they make awkward touches because they just can't keep up with that pace. And when you start to let off the gas, maybe you start to let off that lead as well because you're not allowing your team to just outplay the other team. So it's a delicate balance, but Durham does a great job walking that balance throughout this series. And I'm not sure, I'll have to check in with the behind the scenes if we're going to be bringing a interview here, but we will be bringing an interview in here. So as soon as we have that lined up, I'm excited to get a look from Vitaly and get their opinion on what happened here. Because man, did they show up for this series? And again, I don't want to discredit the other players here for Durham because you don't get to do that without a very, very solid team behind you. But there is a little extra something special when you can say, "Hey, I know I've got a solid team. I'm gonna go play my game." And when you do, you absolutely pop off.
Listen, when you go to the grocery store, we're going back to this one more time. You get the essentials, okay? You get what you need. Eggs, bread, milk. Vitaly took a second, went into the other lane, and got the sauce. And I think actually Vitaly is joining us in chat now. Vitaly, how's that sauce treating you?
Hey man, we're just we got the highest quality sauce here. We're just kind of vibing. How you guys doing today?
Oh,
Great.
excellent.
Juiced after watching that set.
I bet.
Well, a couple of quick questions here. So we mentioned a couple of times before you hopped in here that you absolutely had an awesome series going forward through that, and you sat on the MVP at least twice. I forget if you were in the first game as well, but we talked about how that's a team effort to be able to make that kind of solo effort. And do you have any thoughts on where that comes from and what your teammates have done to be able to set you up to be kind of a star player through this series?
I mean, they're solid players in their own right. Like, obviously, we don't normally play together. This is the first time that we played together in 8 months, I think. So, just kind of working together, having communication, the same, like strong communication, anyways. Because we knew what we had to do going into the series because we know that St. Clair is they're a solid team, right? So we have to come in there expecting them to make touches or whatever. Just kind of play off of that.
Tell me a little bit more about that game one. Tell me what you guys were feeling after that lead. You guys played a little bit slower. What was going through your guys' minds there?
Not gonna lie, I started playing a little bad. I kind of expected a little bit different thing, like a couple different things, because they had played a different way going from game one to game two, and we had to kind of adjust. So they were kind of, making a couple slower touches. They were demoing a lot more. They were taking a lot more boost in game number two. So we kind of had to adjust, and it took us a bit of time. Took us 3 minutes or so to actually find goals. But outside of that, I thought we played pretty well in this series. So nothing to scoff at.
Well, it's a hallmark of a good team is the ability to adapt and change the gameplay. So obviously, both of you guys, Durham and St. Clair changing up because obviously what they had wasn't working in game number one. And then you guys, throughout the course of game number two, making that adaptation. Now, going into game number three, were you thinking about, hey, we need a new game plan to try to secure a little bit better lead and not go to that golden goal scenario? Or was it, hey, it worked last time. As long as St. Clair doesn't throw us any curveballs, we can go ahead and just hammer on through?
I mean, I think our biggest thing was just making sure that we played consistent and solid through the midfield and kept our boost levels up because they were very good with taking our boost and demoing. So if we let our guard down at any point, it was just kind of, we're dead. So we had to play basically the same kind of way. And then if they decided to throw us a curveball, then we would adapt to that. And that's, I mean, obviously we're solid players, right? So we have to adapt to pretty much any curveballs that teams throw at us, and I think we did pretty well.
Not just solid players. Don't downplay yourself. Former champions, right?
I guess, yeah.
I gotta tell you, Vitaly, that goal in game three where you saw they were defending out of goal and you hit it off the wall and got that sick corner shot midfield. What was going through your mind?
I mean, really, it was just kind of it was just kind of playing off of it. I think I just said like I'd shoot, and then I expected a different thing to happen, and then it ended up going in anyway. I was like, oh, okay. But I mean, realistically, any shots throughout the series, we were just kind of like, oh, it went in. Oh, okay, we did our best. Like it was just like, all right, great stuff. But outside of that, I mean, we weren't. The biggest thing to focus on is just kind of staying level-headed during a series, because like if you go too high, go too low, right, you can really feel the effects in a series, and it doesn't matter who you're playing or who you're playing with. It's just you got to stay level and make sure that you stay consistent throughout the series.
Well, we heard it from Aurora, and now we're hearing it from Vitaly. If you want to be one of these top-level players, it is all in the mental game. Everything comes back to the mental game, and you have good days, you have bad days, but it all depends on how you mentally adapt to that and how you handle that. And I think we could see that evidence here, Vitaly. I know I've seen you for a while in other contexts, in twos and things like that. And obviously you've always been kind of a dominant player throughout these different series. So it'll be very exciting to see you going forward. But speaking of going forward, we still have more Rocket League action for you guys here tonight. So we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to Vitaly. Thank you for stopping by. Congratulations on your win. And then we're going to go ahead and start to transition towards our next series. Oh, we have some time. So I think we are going to take advantage here. I'm gonna stick to my guns and continue to move on. We're going to take a second here to talk about our sponsors for NECC here, because obviously we're bringing you lots and lots of super fun, super awesome Rocket League action at the highest of levels. But you don't get to do that for free, and we have to have our wonderful sponsors to make that happen. First, Meta Pro Gaming, full service esports management development consulting company. Meta provides esports coaching, college esports management, arena design, and equipment. Make sure you go ahead and give them a look over at metaprogaming.gg to learn some more if those are some of the things you want to be interested in. Respawn. Unfortunately, I'm not currently rocking some Respawn. I've got myself a nice hard kitchen table chair right here as I'm on the road. But if you need a chair, Respawn products are forged for all-day comfort for content creators, professional, casual players. Anyone looking to upgrade their setup, Respawn has been battle-tested, achieves a level of comfort that leaves competitors in the dust. Live to play another day with Respawn, your battle-ready partner. And I have to testify here, where having a good chair is so, so important. It's critical for your back and your lumbar support. I work from home. I play from home. And having a good chair is so critical to just protecting you and your health. So make sure you give Respawn a look. HyperX headphones. The HyperX mission has been to develop gaming products for all types of gamers. High-speed memory, solid-state drives, headsets, keyboards, mice, charging accessories for console players, USB flash drives, and mouse pads to the gaming community and beyond. HyperX gear is the choice of celebrity ambassadors, pro gamers, tech enthusiasts, and overclockers worldwide because it meets the most stringent product specifications with its best-in-class components. And like I said, headphones is kind of the big thing. It's the one you note. It's the one you see a lot for a lot of different teams and players. They're pretty identifiable. They got the nice big X on the side. They tend to be red. There you go. Nuclear has some as well.
I'm all sponsored up. I got some HyperX headphones. I got the Respawn chair, matching the colors. I'm telling you, we're juiced over here.
Well, so make sure, though, we only get to do that, and we only get to show this love because they have showed us some love, and the only way we get to continue to do that is if you show them some love. So make sure you go ahead and check out all of these different sponsors. And before I talk my tongue off, Nuclear, why don't you take our last couple here, Helix and ESTV, because everybody matters. It's so important to have everybody involved here, and it's a team effort, just like you saw on the field with Durham College, be able to take a win here. It's a team effort here for us as well. Put this on for you.
Yeah, 100%, Lars. Unfortunately, my browser has crashed and I am unable to read those. So, Lars, I'm going to shoot it right on back to you to take us on out.
Well, the good news is you gave me a second to take a drink and take a breath here. Helix Esports. Helix Esports offers world-class gaming and virtual reality experiences at state-of-the-art esports centers throughout the United States. Helix Esports delivers a professional esports experience to everyone. Whether gamers choose to play, practice, and socialize with friends or compete at the highest level, Helix Esports is the premier destination for gamers. Follow Helix Esports today at Helix Esports USA. I think the big thing to note here, by the way, if you haven't tried VR, it is an awesome experience. So it's not easy to get into VR. Helix has it. So if you want to try it, you want to give that a look, make sure you hit up Helix Esports. And last but certainly not least, ESTV. ESTV is the first ever dedicated channel for esports and gaming personalities. The first channel devoted to 24/7 esports coverage can be found on a number of OTT platforms, including the Roku channel, Amazon Fire TV, Samsung TV Plus, Sling TV, and Vizio Free Watch. ESTV partners with the world's top gaming networks like ours, NECC, and production partners for the most robust esports content lineup on linear, online, and mobile. For more information, please visit www.ecstv. I think we have a typo here. .com. It is .co. Okay, not a typo. It is estv.co.
I imagine most of our chat is college students or in the conference, right? You're probably involved with us one way or another. Next time you go to grandma's, next time you go to your aunt's, next time you go and visit, and they got that brand new smart TV on the wall, you need to tell them to download ESTV so they can watch your matches, because we premiere these matches on ESTV so they can watch you compete from the comfort of home, just flipping the channel.
And I can tell you from personal experience, family loves to get involved. Rocket League is such an accessible sport for everybody. You don't have to be a gamer. You don't have to be big in the esports scene. It's just so accessible. It's at its base level, car hit ball go in net. It's so easy for anyone to get excited about, anyone to get involved in. And when you have wonderful casters like Nuclear and our casters coming up, Lychee and Novanta, then it's so easy to get excited about. And now that I am out of things to say beyond the fact that I have been Lars Newt, your call and commentator, I am done for the evening. Joining me here has been Nuclear for your play-by-play. We have upcoming more exciting Rocket League action presented to you by NECC. Stick around. We'll be right back.